welcome to my channel. I'm Mark, this is Mark's Mods, and today guys we've got the DeLorean on the desk. Yes, we are going to be doing the Back to the Future DeLorean. So we're going to do issues 104 and 105. Now again, I've grouped two together. My reasons for this are quite simple really. We're just doing one side and then we're doing the other side. So instead of having one video of doing one side, then another video of doing the other side, we might as well just put them two into one video. I've got both issues here, so it just makes perfect sense just to get on with the build and just do both sides, and then you're not having to repeat yourself with the next video next week. It does get a little bit boring when it's very repetitive. Trust me, I've done an X-Wing, so we know how that went. Anyway, let's get started on these today because we are going to be starting work on the rear flux bands. Now, obviously, I'm doing the EL Light mod for that, and so it won't be like your conventional build because I won't be putting pieces in, but I will be showing what would happen if you were carrying on this build from stock. So if you were building this, you're putting no modifications in it whatsoever. I'll show you what you would be doing if that was the case, but in my case, we are going to be putting the EL Light mod. Now, the EL Light mod won't go in for a few weeks, and the reason for that is in the next one, which would be 106, we're working on the underneath of the car, and then 107 and 108, that is when the EL Light mod will go in. But it's a little bit of a funny one because we've actually got wires dangling all over the place on this one, so I'm surprised they haven't been damaged if you weren't doing this in one big way. So yeah, a little bit surprised on that one, but I'll show you why when we get over to the build table. And enough of me rabbiting on about getting over to the build table, we'll do that now. So with all that said, let's get modelling. Okay guys, so I'm going to bring the DeLorean over. So here she is. Might be a little bit hard to see on this camera, but we'll be working in this area just up here. And what we would do is the first thing, which is not on the right page. I'm going to go to the overhead camera for this one. So what we would be doing is we would have normally a light bulb that would come out here. And we'd have one that come out here. And then what we would do is we would get these fibre optic wires. We would be strapping them to the bulb, so like we would have done previously on the front flux bands. And then basically we would try and start trailing these wires down the car. Okay, now because we're doing the flux bands, there's no real point in doing that, but what we would do next is it's just asked us to bring this up, and we would basically lay it flat on here. We would put the bulb in here, even though I think there's a better way of getting a bulb in there. Okay, and we would then, like we did before, we would put through the wires. Okay, now I'm just going to do this off the car. It says do this on the car, but I'm going to do this off the car. So I'll go over to the other camera. We would put in this little, so I call it like a little grabber, really. That would go in there with these wires in there, and we'd screw that in with some IP screws. Now I'm going to put some IP screws in. One, because I obviously do have to modify this, but I don't want to lose any screws. So I'm not going to put these all the way in. I'm just going to put them in a little bit. So our wire would now be in there. Okay, so going on to the next bit, what we would do after that, we would bring our DeLorean back across, and it's asking us now to place this on. So this would go onto there like so, And then we would screw that in with an NM screw. Again, I'm going to screw it in because, you know, this will be happening eventually. Making sure it... Oh, that's not very lined up, is it? I'm just making sure everything's lined up here. Now, it's, you might say, oh, pointless doing this if I was going to take it off and replace it. It is, but for the purpose of the video, I still like to show what's going on. Okay, and then we would put this cover on in place. I'm just going to put that a little bit down onto there, not fully on, so I can get it off again. And actually that would then be this stage complete. So you just got to kind of use your imagination that the wires would be coming off the bulb that was in there, and they would be going down to the rest of the car. Now, one of the things I did say is it seems a little strange that they would let wires dangle down, and that is simply because I get these fibre optic wires. I don't throw these things away, I keep them. You would have these coming out of here, and they would literally be dangling like that. So that's why I mean we'd have dangling wires. Why we didn't put them in underneath in the next issue or whatever, I don't know. But that would be, if you're getting this from the news agents week by week, that would be what you would be left with on this week. Okay, so that is issue 104 complete. Okay, so if we go to issue 105, this is exactly the same as 104. We're just working on a different side. So I'm just moving my other magazine out of the way. So again, we would be wrapping the next set of fibre optic wires around the bulb using the sticky tape. Okay, then we would be putting them into place. Then we'd be putting our wire catcher on. Let me just go to different camera. Okay, and then we would put that in with 2 IP screws. I'm going to do the same again like I did in the previous issue. Just gives you an idea of what we would have been doing if we were doing this stock. Okay, so I've got them in. We'll be then, like on the previous side, we will be then installing this. Sorry if that came out on camera, some noise from outside. Okay, so we'll go to the overhead. So this would be going just like on the other side. Just on there. So you make sure the bit coming off the thing is there. There we have it. Okay. Then we would screw that in with an NM screw. Again, I'm going to do it because, you know, I will be putting the EL rope mod on this, but I'm just screwing it down a bit. Get the top. Now that's a tight fit. Let me just get something just to get that out. Don't want to break anything there. Just turn it around the other way. A bit better. Quite tight, but there we go. And that will be the stage complete. So, not very fascinating for this installment of the DeLorean. I can tell you now, but that is what we would have been left with would have been left with wires trailing down here, wires trailing down there. The wires would be to the bulb that is doing them, and then obviously these would be attached fully, but they're not, because like I said, there's no point attaching them if I'm going to be doing the modification. Plus the fact, when you've got plastic and you've got threads on plastic, you don't want to break the thread in case, because you know you run the risk. Now, I've got some mats on there, I don't know where that's from, but you run the risk of damaging the screw head. So that is what mine will look like so far. So yeah, it's not, I wouldn't call it a conventional video, but that's what you would be doing if it's stock. Now with the EL rope mod, I'm going to have a lot better flux bands on this. That's for sure. I'm really impressed with the front flux bands and what they look like. And I think the rear is just going to look as good as the front. So that is this stage complete. So that is issue 105 done. Well guys, that's it for the DeLorean for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I've explained it as good as I can do about what we would be doing on them rear flux bands if we were doing it as a stock vehicle. But as you know, I'm not. I've gone that, I just want to mod the heck out of it vehicle. And yeah, that's why I've gone with the EL rope wire, which you can get still from Model Mods if you are starting this back at issue 1, because you now can do with fan home. So yeah, happy days ahead. Anyway, if you like this video, please could you give it a massive thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please don't subscribe and hit the notification bell and be notified of any future videos. But as for always guys, stay safe and bye for now.